you said that because you have a lot of pastors and bishops, different ones who have house prophets in their church, and we talked about that, and even some maybe itinerant prophets, and Bishop Bloomer, and then they some of them don't know how to cultivate them and activate them. There's no cultivation, no activation in their lives, in those, and then we have those things is also as well.
Well, well, I can
Hey,
train.
we're talking about the courses,
right?
right?
We just,
Courses.
right. So we
Can
just
you
went,
speak on the courses too
yes,
as well?
We just went to Bishop Love's church in Louisiana. Prophet Caleb was there with me and his bride of one day. And while we were there, we got their church activated, and they were prophesying to each other with amazing accuracy. We can train in the prophetic college how to activate. Right now I have a course that we can train pastors where we can give you a course. You don't even have to be prophetic to teach the School of the Prophets to your membership, and then call us in to activate them. That's where I see this going. That's the part I can see. And I believe that every church is supposed to have a School of the Prophets. Now, I will say this biblically because I did a book on this called The School of the Prophets, the historical view of the School of the Prophets. The Old Testament School of the Prophets is the New Testament church. In the School of the Prophets in the Old Testament, they came down from the mount with the tabrets, the pipe, the harp. They had music, right? The church opens up with praise and worship. Then, in the book of Acts, they spake in tongues and prophesied. Everyone prophesied. When Saul came among the School of the Prophets, he prophesied where they were saying, is Saul among the prophets? The New Testament church is the Old Testament School of the Prophets. We've got to get the New Testament church back to the New Testament church.
So basically you're saying it's not about a piece of paper, it's about activation and cultivation. All right, is there any other questions? Any other questions?
Come to the mic,
Please. Come to the mic.
We have 8 minutes.
When we started in Greensboro, North Carolina, in October, the thing was to bring prophets and particularly young prophets together so they can have a discussion and then have some panels and what have you. And we decided that we were going to start the College of Prophets. In that setting, the question came up, who's going to be the head of it? And I said, there's no head. I'm not trying to lead it or anything like that. What we want to do is come together and have discussions, I told you, right? And then we'll enter into a conclave, and when the smoke rises on who God would have it to be, that's how we'll know who the leader is. Out of that, this was born because there was individuals who couldn't wait for the smoke. And so we don't want what happened there to happen here. I know for sure that it won't be me. See, when our church in Atlanta, Georgia, became open, that's New Birth, became open, and I got a telephone call to come to New Birth, and I got a word from the prophet to go to New Birth. And I got a word from another prophet to go to New Birth. You know what people need to know. What I said in offering without going through any formation or any applications or anything like that, I sat down with them and this is what I said. I can take these 5,000 people in this church who is in circulation, moving around like this, and I can bring them down to 400. You make me the head man here, and I'll take your 5,000 and I'll bring them down to 400. Because I know what's in the womb of my prophetic and apostolic existence. My job is to find who's next, place him, finance him, and make sure that he's covered. That's my gift and my anointing. And anybody who comes to me and will listen to me will flourish in that area. You had 100 and something people filling out applications because they think they can just go in there and do it. Now, I'm not saying that I can't pastor thousands of people. I'm telling you, I can't pastor thousands of people. And I ain't trying. So when you come here, you're going to learn how to answer the call of what God has placed in your spirit and in your belly, and be great at what you do where you are, because this is what you do. And I'm great at what I do.
We have 2 minutes. We have a question.
Okay, so we've been talking about the fathers, and so my question is, in a time where we've seen a decline in the natural and spiritual, fathers in the lives of the people and those that are hungry just to serve God, and so they're going out because, and there may be an error, but they don't know it because they just simply want to serve God. They want to find his will within their lives, but there's a lack of spiritual fathers and natural fathers to be able to guide the way and lead. What would you say to them, and how to be able to do that and not find themselves by the wayside at the end of this thing?
Okay, so what's your name? I'm sorry, you didn't give your name.
Sorry, my name is Keisha.
And you're from?
I'm from Danbury, Connecticut.
God bless you,
God bless
Keisha. So there's no lack of fathers. A father is a father, whether he's a good one or a bad one. A father. See, when did we put a condition on what a father is? Think about that. Think about that for a moment. You came out your mother's womb and said, there's no mother. She's a crack addict. She's not a mother. Yes, she is. She just gave birth to you. Hear me. I want you to get this. It is not your responsibility to be a good father. It's my responsibility to be the perfect son. What's that?
And that's the hard part.
See, because it pleased the Father to do what?
To bruise the son.
A father is made to bruise his own son. That's why he cuts him on the 8th day.
Right. And another thing, it's like our parents just say, listen, I'm not called to be your friend. Because my job is to take you to another place. And now this is not every case, but a lot of times what these people are looking for is a buddy, and they're looking for somebody to agree with them. And sometimes there is a period where there is strong disagreement, because we see where you're supposed to be going and know what it's going to take to go. And we want this instant thing without process. And there's process involved.
Listen, I had all of my sons so I can cut them.
My God.
Because as I cut them, I made them.
I made him.
Now, how you handle the cut demonstrates mastery.
And they were cut on the 8th day, and that's the day that they were named. You can't wear my name if you can't bear my mark.
Let's go. Wrap it up.
All right. Cut me right so I don't bleed to death.
Hey, that's his spirit of boldness, and he didn't want to come on up here. Listen, you guys were phenomenal. Can y'all put your hands together for the panel on today? And come on, y'all put your hands together for them.
Okay, this is the next session that we have.